What up, team? Today we are going to make a chocolate chip cookie dough cheesecake. So I made this cookie dough yesterday so that I could make the cookie dough balls that need to go in the cheesecake and on top of the cheesecake today because it needs to be preset. You see granulated sugar here because I kind of used the recipe and then kind of decided that I was gonna wing it because I think it required like 2.5 cups of sugar in just this. I'm like, dang, we ain't even got to cheesecake yet. So I used like 1 cup of sugar, or I think it was a 1/2 cup of regular sugar and a 1/2 cup of light brown sugar. And then I tasted it and I was like, well, it does actually need a little more sugar because it's 2 cups of flour. And it was already all mixed, and yeah, I just threw some on top. Yeah, it's gonna get rolled up anyway, so. So that's what that is. I made this yesterday and I set it out. I thought it was gonna be a little less firm than this, but it's not. We'll just work with it. So I got this because I want to at least make sure I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at least 8 balls to go on top of the cake. Yeah, 8 or 10. Yeah. And then I just have this plate here with some parchment on it to put the other one. So yeah, we're gonna do this, and then I have already measured out the ingredients for the crust because the crust is actually a chocolate chip cookie. And then next I will get the ingredients for the cheesecake itself, which some balls of this go into, and then that will bake on top of the already baked cookie crust. And then while that is happening, I will make the ganache that goes on top of the cheesecake. So it'll be a ganache on the top with some of the balls from this. So yeah, I'll just show a little bit of this because I'm sure you don't want to watch me make cookie dough balls, because why? Especially gonna be struggling like that. So here are my 10 for the top. And now I'm going to make the rest for the inside. And it looks like I might have too much, but I mean, it's cookie dough cheesecake. So, and these I'm not gonna make as perfect because they're going inside. So just kind of make like chunks. All right, and here we have our irregular shaped balls. I think there are 13. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of those. So on to the next step. All right, gang, so now we are making the crust. I have my springform pan here. It is glazed and it has parchment in the bottom. We are going to combine in our bowl. I'm just going to reuse my cookie dough bowl. We're going to add the wet ingredients. So we have granulated sugar and light brown sugar. We have Forager yogurt, a vegan yogurt, and what else is in here? Milk and cashew milk and vanilla. That was hard. So adding that. Okay. And then we're going to add our Country Crock plant butter. I had a hard time with my butter because I melted it, and then it has to be melted and cooled. So I melted it and then put it in the freezer so it could cool down, but I let it freeze, so yeah. And I don't know if I mentioned, hopefully I'll have put it on the screen in the clip with the cookie dough at this point, but you have to heat treat your flour if you're making edible cookie dough, because something with salmonella, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, I put that flour for the cookie dough, got 2 cups of flour in the oven for 10 minutes on like 350, and then it gets real stiff, and then I had to sift it to get it separated, I guess is the word, again. So yeah, you have to heat treat your flour. Half the cookie dough balls will be going in the cheesecake, so they will cook, but the ones on the top will be quote unquote raw. So there's that. So this is mixed up. We're going to add our flour and sea salt. And there's no leavener in here, so there's no baking soda, baking powder, or ACV, so this crust won't rise and puff up like the cookie would traditionally do. And right before it's fully combined, I'm gonna go ahead and add my chocolate chips. See if I want to put all of those in there or not. I feel like there's plenty, but okay. And here is my pan. I feel like there's a little bit too much liquid in my dough, but as I say with most things I bake, it's butter, sugar, and flour, so it really can't, it can't go too wrong. Save the chocolate chips. All right, so I'm gonna try to press this into here. I feel like it's gonna stick to my gloves a lot. There we have it. I'm going to bake this for 10 to 15 minutes. While this is baking, I will go ahead and sort out my ingredients for the cheesecake filling. All right, gang, we are back. The cookie crust is out of the oven. It is actually thicker than I thought, and it's more doughy. I was thinking more cookie, like you know the texture when you break a cookie, you can see the little, I won't say molecules, but the crumb of it. And then I realized I'm making a cookie dough cheesecake, so everything's gonna be doughy, Janet. Get over it. So this is it. So it's browned on the edges. Like I said, it has more of a doughy feel to it. But I don't know if you can see this spot right here. I picked the hole. I wanted to make sure it was actually cooked. So there's that. So next up, we have to make our cream cheese filling. Okay, so here's our ingredients for the cream cheese filling. And I've made vegan cheesecakes. And I've done Oreo and Biscoff, and I'll try to remember to add some photos in here. But in mine, I always use like a little bit of lemon to, you know, cream cheese and that tartness to it. The recipe, I'll say I'm following it, but I've taken some liberties. But doesn't have any tarch to it. So I'm almost wondering if I want to just add some on my own, because I don't want it to just be all sweet, but I don't know. I have to taste the filling and then I'll decide. Anyways, so this is Toe Frutti vegan cream cheese. I haven't used Toe Frutti in forever. I usually use Miyoko's or Kite Peel, and Miyoko's really already has that bitter cream cheese note to it. Kite Hill does not really have it, so I really do usually add it to the Kite Hill. But I have 3 of these tofutti 8-ounce containers, and the cream cheese and the heavy cream need to be room temperature, which I forgot about. So the oven is still on. We have a gas range, so I just set the I just set these close to the back because the heat kind of rises just to warm them up, and they're almost room temp. By the time I whip them up, they'll be fine. So anyways, cream cheese. This is supposed to be all yogurt, but I somehow miscalculated my yogurt expenditure. So I have mostly applesauce and then yogurt. This is for, usually when we use applesauce or yogurt, it is for our binding. So it should be fine. I guess we're gonna see. So I need to cream these together first. And then after these are creamed together, I'm gonna add this. This is Califia Farms vegan heavy whipping cream, so it's really thick. I don't know if you can tell. Plain sugar, cornstarch, a lot of cornstarch, more than I bargained for, and lots of vanilla. I kind of amped up the vanilla because I always do in any recipe I do. So I'm going to add this into my mixing bowl. Boop. Can these fit open, or do I need to get? All right, so I have combined the cream cheese and yogurt applesauce mixture. It's not completely smooth, I think for 2 reasons. One, because I used applesauce, and applesauce is not completely smooth. And 2, because the cream cheese was not 100% room temperature, but I think it'll be fine. So now we're going to add the rest of the ingredients that need to be creamed together. So we got sugar, we got all of this cornstarch, which freaks me out, but here we go. The vanilla, it smells delicious, and the heavy cream. All right, so I am going to go back to the stand mixer, get this cream together, and then I'll be back. Okay, so it is mixed. It is a lot of batter. So I am going to line this up a little bit in case it, I just think that this with what's already in the pan is gonna overflow. So let me work on that. Okay, we're gonna call that good. So next, woo, okay, next I need to put half of the filling in the pan, and then I'm going to put the cookie dough balls in there, and then put the rest of the filling on top, and then some more cookie dough balls on top of that, and then bake it. But I also have to make a water bath for the cheesecake so that it doesn't dry out while it's cooking. So while I go retrieve the cookie dough balls, I will start the boiling water. So yes. Okay, water is boiling. Here is the cookie dough. This is the cookie dough for the top. This is the cookie dough for the bottom, or within the cheesecake. Take those out. So half of the filling going in. have, it was 13, wasn't it? So this is 7. It should be correct. Okay, so we'll just, I'm wondering, should I break them up? Are they too big still? That's messing with my OCD, but it's fine. I'm about to cover it up. All right, the other half. And for reference, the pan is here and the cheesecake is at the edge of the pan. So I'm glad I did this because it's definitely gonna overflow. So I'm gonna actually do these even smaller. All right, so the water is boiling. I'm going to put this on the middle rack. I'm going to put a pan of the boiled water under it, and we are going to bake it for, I think, like an hour. So while that is happening, I will prep the ganache, probably like the last third of the baking time of the, or do I actually need to let the cheesecake cool completely before I do the ganache? It might be too hot. The cake is hot and the ganache is hot. There might be too much hot. Anyways, not for you to worry about. I will return. Did it get dimmer? Or is it, am I making it up? I don't know. Anyways, all right. I also forgot to say I'm going to put the cheesecake back in this pan to catch any drips, and then the water bath will be under, on the rack under this. So this is back in this pan. Okay, so we are in the oven. The water bath is down here. The back pan has boiled out. These two front ones have not. I ended up cutting down this because the cake wasn't getting brown, and per directions it should still be jiggly but browned at the top. And now I'm going to turn off the heat and let it sit for 10 minutes, but I'm gonna take the water that's left out. All right, so we're out of the oven. It has to now cool on the counter for 15 minutes and then go into the fridge. So after it goes to the fridge for a little while, I will come back and make the ganache, so that'll probably be after. Oh, bending over to close the oven. That will probably, I shouldn't have closed it that hard. Anyways, after my last client. And it is firmer on the edges than it is in the center, but it's supposed to be that way supposedly. And it did rise above the paper. And like I mentioned before, I don't know if I had the mic covered that whole time. Anyways, like I mentioned before, the paper was probably like this high, about 2/3 of the way through the cooking. I cut it down because nothing was getting brown, and I was like, that's weird. And then I realized I basically made a barrier. So yep, I shall return. All right, gang, we are back. The cheesecake is cooled. We need to, where am I? Couldn't find my other glove. We need to unwrap her, so to speak. So let's see what would be a good angle. All right, here we go. Hopefully with all this parchment, it comes out pretty well. She a deep dish. take it off of here. There's the crust on the bottom. Isn't that beautiful? I think I got this ring because of how high I had the paper up the side. I need to decide if I'm going to take it off this parchment, because when I decorate it, I don't think it's gonna look good on this. So anyways, we will put this to the side for just a second. Next, I have to make the ganache. So, excuse me. I don't know why every time I get the mega chunks, they look dusty like this, but I literally bought them the same time as I bought the mini ones. They're both semi-sweet. I don't know. Anyways. Look, oh, maybe because they beat up each other. Anyways, so melting butter and chocolate together. Then we're gonna drip it on the cheesecake and do our cookie dough balls. I think I will probably also do a little bit of whole chocolate, not like this, but maybe the mini chips or this chopped up, because it needs to be looking shiny for me. It can't be looking dusty like that, because that's crazy. And traditional chocolate, like milk chocolate, if it looked like this, that would mean it was bad, but it's not the case with this. And also I think I want to spray a little bit of like the luster dust that I have. Not enough to make it visually sparkly, like maybe by the eye, but maybe visually sparkly under flash. So we shall see. I'll come back when this is ganache. So we have our ganache, and I have put the cheesecake on a little decorating Lazy Susan. I wanted to put it on a black plate, but the chocolate and the black plate, I feel like it'll blend together. So here it is, and I did take the parchment off. Move these crumbs out the way. Just making more crumbs, trying to remove crumbs. All right, we're just gonna leave it. So I'm going to start with the drizzle just around the edges to make sure it goes down the side the way I want. And then I'll do the top. And I'll probably place the balls in this divot since it's a perfect spot for it around the edges. So yeah, I guess ain't nothing to it but to do it. So I'm gonna use one of my old protein powder cups. I don't want it to run too much down the side. It's almost too loose. Probably should have used less butter. Because this is far more chocolate than is needed. But this is what happens when you follow other people's recipe. Yeah, I want it thicker than this, but what can you do? I think I'm gonna put it in the fridge. It didn't say to use it cooled, but it's not dripping it all the way I want it to. So I think I'm gonna set it in the fridge for a couple minutes. Oof. Okay, I shall return. Hey, so it's voiceover Janet, because as you saw on screen, my husband came down and we started talking crazy about something, I'm not sure. So anyways, the video is wrapping up shortly, so I just give what feedback I would have given. It tastes good. I do have notes though. As I put on screen a little earlier, this is kind of an adapted recipe from Banana Diaries, and I've used one of her recipes before, but I used it exactly, well, I didn't use it exactly, but anyways, it was for a Oreo cookie cake for my husband's birthday, and I'll put that on the screen for his that wasn't last birthday, that was 2 birthdays ago. But anyways, all that to say, whenever you're using a recipe, I feel like for the most part it's a guide. For baking, if you don't bake often, I would stick a little more to the guide, because baking is a science. Cooking period is a science, but baking is really a science, and you don't want to put all that work into it and then your cake don't rise or whatever the case may be. But it is also per whoever created it, their preference. So I prefer cheesecake that is more textured. So like you have those silky, velvety cheesecakes, almost like a thick, hardened pudding. And then you have those cheesecakes that have, I don't want to say they're gritty, but they have, the cheese has a texture to it. I prefer that. So this was more silky. I'm a texture person, so I want more textures in it. So you got soft cookie dough. You got soft cheesecake, and then the cookie on the bottom did harden up, but again, it's cookie dough like as well. I just need more variants. So there's that. Also, this chocolate quote unquote ganache, that is chocolate sauce. I should have did it the way I always do it, but again, I was like, well, maybe 1-to-1 is fine, but no, I should have did 1 to like a quarter. And I think that's probably it. My husband in this squeaking chair really sent me. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. It was delicious. I hope you enjoyed watching me make it, and leave me any comments or questions below. Bye.